Today's Gospel Wednesday, October 1st, 2025. First reading, Nehemiah 2 verses 1 to 8. In the month of Nisan, in the 20th year of King Artaxerxes, I, Nehemiah, was serving wine to the king. I had not been sad in his presence before, so the king asked me, "Why are you looking so sad? You aren't sick, are you? You must have some problem." I was very frightened, but I replied, "May the king live forever. How can I help but look sad when the city where my ancestors are buried lies in ruins and its gates have been burned?" The king asked me, "What do you want?" I prayed to the God of heaven and then answered the king, "If it pleases your majesty and if you are pleased with me, your servant, send me to Judah to rebuild the city where my ancestors are buried." The king, with the queen sitting beside him, asked me, "How long will your journey take and when will you return?" The king approved my request, and I gave him a specific time. I also asked the king, "May I ask your majesty to give me letters for the governors of the province beyond the river, that they may give me safe passage until I reach Judah? And may I have a letter for Asaph, the keeper of the royal forest, to supply me with timber for the gates of the temple's fortress, for the city wall, and for the house I will occupy?" The king granted my requests. Gospel of the day, Luke 9 verses 57 to 62. As Jesus and his disciples were walking along, someone said to him, "I will follow you wherever you go." Jesus said to him, "Foxes have dens and birds have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head." To another he said, "Follow me." But he replied, "Lord, let me go and bury my father first." Jesus answered him, "Let the dead bury their dead. You go and proclaim the kingdom of God." Another said, "I will follow you, Lord, but first let me say goodbye to my family." Jesus said to him, "No one who sets a hand to the plow and looks back is fit for the kingdom of God." Reflection. In the Gospel of Luke, Jesus calls his disciples to follow him without conditions. He asks them to leave behind their lives, families, and possessions to follow him in his mission to proclaim the kingdom of God. Jesus does not promise comfort or security, but rather asks them to trust in him and his mission. The three examples in the gospel show different attitudes towards following Jesus. The first is willing to follow, but doesn't know what it entails. The second has an excuse for not following immediately, and the third wants to say goodbye to his family before committing. Jesus calls us to be radical in our faith, not looking back or letting worldly things distract us from our mission. He asks us to trust in him and his providence. Conclusion. Am I willing to follow Jesus without conditions? Am I willing to leave behind my securities and comforts to proclaim the kingdom of God? May we learn from Jesus to be radical in our faith and trust in his providence. Amen. Do not wait until tomorrow to open your heart, because after that, it may be too late.